Vault Boy Hunter. Say hello, Sam.
Hello, Brennan, and don't forget to share your screen.
Okay. And Dan, the fan of history.
Hey, din mup.
Hey, din mup indeed. So, everybody, it is another week, and we have episode 35. Let's get ready to Gauntlet. Down, 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 down. I think that's
it's the
copyrighted.
Pauper Gauntlet.
Yeah. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. All right. What do we have this week? We have some Standard Pauper to look at, our weeks in review, and Classic Pauper, but from this point until the foreseeable future, Classic Pauper is going to be dominated by one thing and one thing only. That will be the Pauper, a Gauntlet.
The Pauper Gauntlet.
Or Gauntlet, depending on how I typed it that day. Who knows? It's a mystery.
It could be any one of those many different spellings.
It might be.
Between the two.
Alright, well, let's take a look at Standard Pauper while we can, folks. I hate to say it that way, but, yeah.
Yeah, what the hell are we gonna do?
I don't know.
We're still gonna cover the pre's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could only imagine we'll still do our set review in a casual Standard Pauper sort of way, but it's going to be tricky. We're going to have to delve deep into what we're going to do for our hook segment.
I know. We have to... I think our pleas went ignored.
I think Wizards told us politely, super politely, us in Tribal, to go F ourselves, but to continue playing Magic Online.
I'm really worried about my weekly video.
Yeah.
I'm playing in the double league, in Gwynnett's league, so that will be a couple of weeks, but after that, I might need to finish this show with a game every time. So.
Well, I don't know what to do. We'll have to we will have to figure out something. But anyway, for right now, we're staying strong. We're going long. We're talking about the SPDC 3104 this past Sunday. 16 players, 16 reported. Thank you very much. 3 rounds Swiss top 8. Playoff hosted by the lovely and talented Dr. Chris Baker. Coming in first, we have Rakdos Grind by Forley. Forley been making a lot of showings here lately. Is It Burn coming in second, piloted by the good doctor. Top 4 is Blue White Eldrazi. Love it. Probably going to go over that one next week, as a matter of fact, because I like it so much. Another Rakdos, filling out the top 4. Top 8, you have Gruul Landfall. And then the next one you have Te Amo Rafa. Well, I'm sure
What's
Rafa, that means I love you, Rafa.
Aww.
Yeah, so sweet. And Grixis Control and Greedy Grixis fill out top 8. We've looked at Rakdos Grind before. Not much changed. So we're going to look at what the good doctor brought to the table. You'll notice I usually have creatures listed. There are none. No creatures. So that probably means...
It's a counter-burn deck.
Yes.
There's not even token generators in it.
Nope. None.
I won my first Pauper tournament back in 1996 on the island of Åland in the Baltic Sea between Finland and Sweden. There was a Pauper tournament. It wasn't called Pauper but, at that point.
Wow.
And I played a deck very similar to this one in Spirit.
Really?
Just blue, card drawing, counterspells, and burn.
That's funny. Wow. Because, yeah, I divided up between slow spells, sorceries. You got Tormenting Voice, Touch of the Void, Treasure Cruise. And then you have your fast spells. You have your Anticipate, your Bone to Ash, which, let's be honest, this is the common Ojutai's Command. 4 Chandra's Fury, 1 Disperse, 4 Fiery Impulse, 2 Sarkhan's Rage, 2 Spell Shrivel, 3 Twin Bolt, 4 Whisk Away. Sideboard, 1 Bathe in Dragonfire, haven't seen that one in a while, 1 Boiling Earth, 1 Clutch of Currents. That one seems kind of expensive. Don't we have a 1 mana spell that does that?
Yeah, it's not for the bounce effect, it's for the Awaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
The surprise creature.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So Boiling Earth, because there's a cheaper version of that, I think, right now, too. He wants to be able to side into surprise creature cards.
Yeah, and then you have 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Disperse, 1 Monastery Lore Master, which kicked my butt earlier. We'll talk about that when time comes. Negate, Ruin Processor, there's where the creatures are, they're in the sideboard. And Valakut Invoker. Crazy, huh? Went
Very interesting.
I thought
So the
it
Ruin
was...
Processor, that's the big Eldrazi common processor that gains you 5 life, right?
I believe so, the 7 cast.
So that's just in for value off of your spell shrivels and your touches.
Yeah. Well, it's also going to give you... that life is basically for the mono red.
Is the Lore Master... Which one's the Lore Master?
I think that's the one that gains you life every time you cast a non-creature spell.
I thought that was...
No.
What's that one?
It's the Megamorph that when turn faced up, return target non-creature non-land card from your graveyard to your hand.
Oh, okay. Okay, that costs like 1 million mana to do, but I guess 1 out of
6.
4 is pretty good.
Yeah, Megamorph. Ugh.
Win by Chandra's Fury.
Yeah.
Amazing. Tough to be a 1 toughness creature against this deck.
No kidding.
It looks like it's really well positioned to take out the red-green landfall deck.
Yeah, I'm not impressed with the landfall deck, I'll tell you that.
It looks like it should work super good, but...
It hasn't for me.
It works great in theory. Alright, well, let's take a look at MPDC today. These stats may have improved on MPDC since I made up this. But we have 19 players, 15 reported. 3-round Swiss top 8 playoff hosted by Gwynedd. First place is It You Are Mine? You guys with your naming. Second is It Lust? Come on.
That's pretty good.
Rakdos Grind. And then rounding out the top 4 is Blue Red 2015 1015. So basically October 15th Safe Prowess. Way to name it by how you filed it. And then the top 8 we have Black Red Sacrifice, Black White Warriors piloted by Gwynedd. And then there is the Red Deck Wins, aka the Anti-Grind.
Excellent.
And then Blue White Auras.
Yeah, the Red Deck Wins is what I played in the league.
Yeah, me too, and I got spanked like a naughty child.
Yeah, me too.
I'm not playing that again.
Super grindy Jeskai deck, and I just didn't have enough card draw.
I hear you.
Really,
that's what I lost to.
Super grindy Jeskai.
Yeah. By Obsen.
First, Obsen's playing something grindy.
Yeah, we shouldn't expect anything different. All right, let's take a look at Is It You Are Mine? Guys, come on. By Joe Cool came in first. Creatures, Elusive Spellfist, which I think is a great card. Unblockable, gets bigger. What's not to like? Jeskai Sage, pretty awesome. Jeskai Wind Scout. 3 Mage Ring Bullies, as Dan likes to emphasize when he plays that card. You seem to hang on the word bully, Dan. I think you like it.
Oh, yes.
And then you have Whirlwind Adept, 3 of those. Spells, 3 Anticipate, 1 Chandra's Fury, 1 Clutch of Currents, 3 Fiery Impulse, 2 Refocus, 2 Swift Kick. It's been a while since I've seen Swift Kick. 2 Titan Strength, 3 Tormenting Voice, which is a good card. 4 Treasure Cruise. Man, can you believe we only have like 2 months of Treasure Cruise left?
It's more than that, right?
Nope.
No,
it doesn't leave in Oath of the Gatewatch. It leaves in Shadows of Innistrad.
Nope. It leaves an Oath.
Yeah.
Oh.
All we're left with is Dragons once Oath comes out.
The format doesn't rotate with Oath. It rotates with Shadows of Innistrad.
Pretty sure
it's an 18-month rotation, not a 15-month rotation.
Yeah, but that's just it. They're getting rid of the first 2, but we're still keeping
they're
Dragons.
getting rid of Khans and Fate Reforged when Shadows of Innistrad block starts.
I thought it was earlier than that.
I did too. I was pretty sure.
I'm 100% sure about this. It's so what they did to make this 18-month rotation scheme work is to count Khans and Fate as one block and count Origins and Dragons as the second block. And then Battle for Zendikar and Oath of the Gatewatch is Battle for Zendikar block. And those will be the 3 blocks of Standard. And when Shadows of Innistrad block starts with Shadows over Innistrad, Khans and Fate Forge rotates out.
So, I mean, that's 5 months.
Yeah, it's in April.
Still not as long as we would want with our boat.
No, but that's new Standard rotation. It's like everything goes away immediately.
It's going to make Standard so much more expensive.
Yeah, it's but the pros love it.
Good for the pros?
Yeah, because it changes the format more, so you have to think more.
Yeah,
and you can get
it's the same reason why the pros don't like having a modern pro tour.
Exactly.
So anyway,
I have to sort of know these things because of MTG Finance. And it's pretty interesting right now because right now is the time to sell, traditionally, the time to sell something that's rotating.
Yeah.
And also the time for the peak of last year's block. So Khans of Tarkir and Fate Reforged are simultaneously peaking and crashing. So nobody knows.
Wow.
And it really shows in the prices. The fetch lands are like, do we want to buy fetch lands now? No, we want to sell fetch lands now. No, we want to buy them. So they're going up, down, up, down.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm selling out everything from Khans and Fate Reforged.
I know the paper fetches have jumped up to over 20, all of them, except for the white and green one right now.
I made a killing on the fetches, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, it's 18-month rotation will be very scary financially.
Yeah, I traded out. I traded basically all the standard stuff I had to get the fetches I wanted back when they were like $8 to $11.
Yeah,
very glad I did that.
I don't think they will drop down to that, but they will drop down to something similar to that when rotation hits.
You know what? I didn't think that the pain lands or the shock lands would drop as far as they have. You can pick them all up for under $10 in paper, man.
No, they dropped post rotation, and
yeah.
I think people fear that they will be replaced by battle lands in modern, or that battle lands is a good enough replacement.
I don't think they are.
Actually, the trick with like 2 basics in your deck is pretty strong because you never have to play a tap land if you use battle lands.
It's true, but then you have to have a deck that actually has enough reliable fetches, enough reliable basics. For example, the the deck I play, Living End, I only have 5 total basic lands.
Yeah, I think some decks will just have to use the shock lands.
Yeah, I ended up I used the fast lands, the Blackcliff Cleaves and the Copperline Gorge. Is that it? Copperline Gorge? I think so.
Yeah, that's it.
Those are the ones I use. But I operate on very little mana, so I guess that's probably not a good example.
But I think anyone who thinks that fetch lands are eternally playable and thus they will not drop from this situation, they are very wrong. They will lose at least 50% of their value on rotation.
Oh, yeah. Man,
because standard players have no interest in them come May.
Right. And there are more standard players now than there has ever been.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a dump like you wouldn't believe.
People think like modern staples don't fall on rotation. That's a very common myth. But if you look at cards like Snapcaster Mage, it crashed like 70% on rotation. But they recover quicker than other cards, of course.
Right.
But Thoughtseize, for example, on the way up again, but it crashed horribly.
That's true.
I'm actually keeping Monastery Mentor, Tassiger, and Siege Rhino just to see if 18-month rotation has changed that.
Okay. All right. Well, Sam, now that we've talked about finance, what was your week like?
Bonus.
Yeah, bonus.
Played Pauper Thursday night with 4 other people in Paper.
Oh, how did it go?
Good. I came in second. We did a little Swiss tournament. Not, with 4 people, you can't really do much else. I played Trinket, and I went 2-1, losing to Tortured Existence deck. I just
did they play your Tortured Existence deck, or did they?
No, he played his own. He played his own version. But it was really close. We did a deck comparison afterwards. And
guys always comparing their decks.
He played really well. He's actually, there's another card game. It's an upstart card game called Force of Will. And like the weekend before, he became the Kansas State champion in Force of Will.
Wow. Okay.
So there's a paper card game that tries to compete with Magic again.
Yep. It's a Japanese one.
It's really weird. Like, it's kind of like a mixture of like all the games seem to be Commander because you pick a leader and you around it, and I can't figure it out. The art's amazing.
Right. I can tell you. Here it is. Basically, you're putting on a play with your cards, and the thing I think is 100 million times better with Force of Will than Magic is you start off with 2 piles. All of your spells are in one pile. All of your essentially lands or mana producers are in another. So every draw step, you can choose one or the other.
I have actually been brainwashed by Mark Rosewater to have 100% confidence in the Magic mana system.
That's fine. But Force of Will is gaining a hell of a lot of popularity.
But I was surprised yesterday when I saw like a box of Force of Will for $300. And like, wow, a full box of Force of Wills. They're like $100 a piece.
No.
I'm going to buy this.
The flip side of it is he's like, yeah, but the world champion of Force of Will in 2014, the grand prize was like $200.
Right.
But I guess they get like if you get to the point where you go to the championships, they fly you to Japan for free, which is, pretty cool. His prize was that he gets to pay for a plane ticket and go and play in Orlando.
Yay.
Nationals or something. So, but that was a fun time. The other 2 guys, one guy played Demiri Delver without anglers in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, where's your anglers? And he's like, I don't have any. And I'm like,
oh,
well,
no.
you're playing a bad deck. And then the other guy just threw together like the most subpar goblins deck I've ever seen in my entire life. Hopefully with a little bit better of game next time. But it was fun.
Was he allowed to play grenades?
Yeah, we're doing paper rarity with the online ban list plus him the Turak, and then we've decided we're going to go ahead and do the vintage masters downshifts as well.
So
that way we can play
pretty powerful.
Grenade was pretty good. I mean, he grenaded me out one game. But with the second life staff coming in out of the board, he just couldn't keep up. Chittering Rat is really good against a deck that constantly needs to be drawing gas.
Yes. Pretty
so
good at blocking goblins too.
Yeah, I never did get in any of the games I played, I never got Grim Harvest going. When I was sitting playing against a Tortured Existence deck, Grim Harvest just felt like really bad, watching him get back like thing after thing after thing with the Tortured Existences.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you were in matchups where you needed Grim Harvest, except for goblins perhaps, to get back Fume Spitters and gain life.
Yeah, even then, I mean, he barely, he was playing, Dragon Fodders into, what's the one that you kick to give everything else +1/+0 in haste? Bushwhackers?
Yeah.
He wasn't playing any of the sack ones, like any of the actual engine cards.
Really?
So I think he must have just thrown the deck together, or he's not familiar with Goblins Online. Because the one kid, the one who's the Force of Will champion, he plays the Tortured Existence deck that he built online, and the other kid, he went to MTG Goldfish and he looked up Pauper decks there. So I think only one of us wasn't really prepared, because a lot of people think Pauper is just throw a whole bunch of commons into a deck and play a game of Magic.
Little do they know.
Little do you know, it's a real format with the real meta, or it used to be. I'm not sure what it is now. Delver?
I would like to put. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see how well Delver stacks up against modern decks.
Our Delver?
Yeah, Pauper Delver with all the appropriate cards for a true Pauper Delver deck versus...
Yeah, isn't that... it must be like Ninja Bear Delver plus broken cards, so it sounds pretty good.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have to think, just having access to Ponder and Preordain, I mean, just feels really good most of the time, so...
Daze seems a bit overpowered, too.
Yeah, Daze is pretty good.
Daze, yeah.
Snapcaster into Cloud of Fairies into Snapcaster. I mean...
Oh, no, I don't mean Snapcaster. I mean, you still have to keep all these comments.
Spell Stutter into Cloud of Fairies into Spell Stutter.
Okay.
I mean, you played a Tarmogoyf? Well, boom! I Spell Stutter it, and you're just
oops, there it goes.
Well, that was unexpected. So, and then no other Magic information, though. I got my PlayStation 4 on Friday, and I did a little test stream, if you want to go to Twitch, of me just, messing around with Last of Us Remastered. I don't have a mic yet, but I'm going to get one on Thursday when I get Fallout 4. So the streaming I do will have commentary moving forward.
That's awesome.
I'm going to do a blind run of Fallout 4, and then other playthroughs will be themed. Like the second playthrough will probably be a no-kill run, I imagine.
That seems so hard.
I will be posting those on Hard Nerd Cafe on YouTube.
Cool.
I'm really, really looking forward to spending the rest of my life playing Fallout 4.
Yeah, we just noted that Fallout 4 is the biggest game on Twitch right now.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, my cousins are blowing up my Facebook with Fallout 4 stuff.
It's gonna be awesome. 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 It's just gonna be awesome. I can't wait. So Thursday.
Do you think it's gonna be awesome?
I think it's gonna be moderately okay. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely convinced at this point. No, it's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to play it. So, and that's it. That's my week. And just waiting in anticipation of Fallout coming out. They were supposed to do the Legendary Cube beta, but apparently there were issues with it, and they're doing it next weekend. So on the next show, I'll have some stuff to say about that, because that looks interesting, I think.
Yeah, it does look interesting. I'm curious how it's going to pan out, but yeah, I agree. Interesting stuff.
Draft a whole bunch of legends, I guess.
Yep. Which kind of sounds like my kind of cube. Super duper dirtily.
Just as long as they're all Kamigawa block legends, we're fine.
They are not. All right, Mr. Dan, it's been a long time since we've spent much time on yours. Before we get to the Gauntlet, do you have any weekly updates?
Oh yes, well, the Gauntlet is kind of dominating my life right now, but I wanted to mention that our other podcast, Fan of History, has experienced a great increase in listenership when we did the Battle of Karkar episode 23. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to trying to maintain a high quality on that podcast, and there's another episode coming tomorrow. It's me and Brennon talking history.
Yep.
And Brennon does a great Mesha, the ancient king of Moab impression.
Yeah, because my ancient Moabian dialect's spot on.
Yeah, it's perfect.
So yeah, be on the lookout for that. That's fun.
What else? I have been... I play a lot of weird games on Hard Nerd Cafe. I'm playing World of Tanks, Heroes of the Storm, and Cards and Castles, mainly. I have been playing a league with Red Green Tron in Modern.
Mm-hmm.
And the final result is not public yet. There will be a new video on Friday. That's around 4.
Yes.
I entered the double league. I'm playing the Modern Silver Black League. I'm currently 3-1 in that. Having played both Hexproof and Tron. So like I played Hexproof when I expected people to think that I was playing Tron. What else? I've just, as part of the MTGO Tickets main sponsorship for the Pauper Gauntlet,
right?
I requested 4 Wastelands, and I got that.
Wow.
And that was the final cards I needed for Vintage. So yesterday I did my first Vintage video.
So how do you feel about Vintage?
In a sense, I played a lot of Type 1 back in the day, before I sold my power.
Okay.
And it's to me it's like pure magic in a sense. It's so crazy. It's like it feels good to be back in that. I think I will play more Vintage. I'm tinkering with the Mentor deck as well, so I might even have 2 decks. I might even do a Vintage Noob series. Let's see where it goes. But I have to complete this first workshop deck. Still looking for a couple of cards. But playing workshop was interesting, because it sort of enforces all your prejudice against Vintage. Okay, I start with Land, Mox, Lodestone Golem. Okay, your turn. Okay, you can't do anything. I'm sorry.
Yeah, oops. All right.
I played a couple of test games. I don't think any game lasted longer than 3 turns.
Really?
Yeah, it turns out Black Lotus is pretty powerful.
Really?
No way. That's high.
I'm looking
That's
at getting into Legacy as well, but it turns out the Legacy is actually more expensive on Magic Online than Vintage. Because of Vintage Masters. So prices fell and I stocked up too much on Vintage Masters.
And people have been playing Legacy on Magic Online for years, and Vintage Masters is still relatively a baby set, so
I was thinking that I could play like stacks or workshop-based deck in Legacy 2, and it would be easy to convert the deck, but there is a lot of cards that's not good enough to make it into Vintage workshop decks, but that are horribly expensive, such as Ensnaring Bridges. So the Legacy deck is 1,400 tickets.
Oh my god.
wow.
While if you already have the power, the Vintage deck is much cheaper then, of course.
Right. That's crazy.
Bridge sees modern Fringe playable too, so that's probably a lot of it.
Yeah. If you're listening to this and have any experience playing Workshop in Vintage, I need help. So please comment on the video when going up next week, I assume.
Yeah. I think you put it up. You sent it to me yesterday.
Yeah, so it's the usual help I need, like tips and tricks and sideboard plans.
So help Dan. He needs it, y'all. He needs it real bad.
Help Dan help himself. Helping Dan.
Awesome.
I want to do a shout out to the professor of Tolarian Community College.
Oh yeah. Hey Professor.
Because he has been retweeting some Gauntlet stuff, and that has increased the interest in the Pauper Gauntlet. So thank you for that, Mr. Professor. We should try to get him on here.
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah, you can see.
I'll try that, guys.
He seems to be interested in Pauper, so
it'd be cool. We can definitely have him on to talk around the Gauntlet time.
He did a great guest appearance on. Now the name slips. That podcast with the 2 girls, Megan and Maria.
Oh, Magic the Amateuring.
Magic the Amateuring, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. He was also on the Command Cast. He's been on several podcasts.
Oh. Well, ask him.
Sure. Sam.
I will try to arrange that. I have reached out to many famous people and got at least a couple of responses, so let's see if I can get somebody Magic famous on the show.
Sounds good to me. We'll have to be on our game.
Maybe we can discuss politics with Travis Wu.
No, let's not. Let's not even talk about him.
Let's not talk about right now. Let's
too soon, Dan.
Try to avoid Firebrand issues.
Too soon. All right. Well, now it's time to talk about me. Announcements? Nothing really. Although I've been on a tear recently, trading a lot of cards for Classic Pauper staples. Like I'm trying to get enough Manamorphos, enough Lotus Petals, Simian Spirit Guides. I had Simian Spirit Guides, but I hate taking the ones from my modern deck. And
so you're talking Paper Pauper?
Paper Pauper, yep.
Paper Pauper.
Yep, I'm trying to complete a few decks, trying to get that moving along here in this area, because I think it would be cool. So I figure if I have several decks, I can just bring them all and just have people play.
Nice.
Drum up interest.
That's a good idea that I hadn't thought of, is showing up with decks for everybody, because right now I just have 3, and my plan is to start to accumulate a lot of like the tier 1 decks.
Yeah.
And that's a good way, like, here, want to try Pauper? Here's Tron. Try it out. See if you like the format.
See what you think.
See what you think. Unfortunately, Tron is like $40 to build, so it might be, here's 5-color green. Try 5-color green out.
Dude, but then you could give them, It doesn't have to be tier 1. Like, tier 2 stuff is still fun as hell to play.
Tier 2 stuff is fun, but a lot of the more obscure cards are expensive because they're obscure. Like my one copy of Predatory Night Stalker was almost $4.
What?
Yeah, because it's in Portal 1 and there's like 7 of them in existence or something. I mean,
Predatory Night Stalker.
Yeah,
that was the downshifted one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was downshifted in Vintage Masters.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's only in Portal. Everything in Portal is like 10 times what it should be.
Yeah, because it's super rare because people bought like 6 boxes of it and hated it. And don't even get me started on the second Portal with the white guys with guns. I mean, that was bad flavor planning. If anybody wants to listen to an interesting drive to work, Morrow did one last week on the ARC system, which is the predecessor to Portal. You guys might remember ARC. I remember ARC. You should listen to it because he's like, this was a catastrophe from the beginning. So it's very fun for him to basically go, I was designing Magic, so I had nothing to do with it. But boy, did it suck.
Wow. All right. Modern Silver Black. I gotta play my league match this week. Not doing so good in the Modern Silver Black. Also, with the Standard Double League, I lost my first match, waiting for my next pairing to go up. See how that goes.
That should happen any second now, right?
Yeah. We should get our pairings. It wasn't up there like at 7 o'clock. I don't know when they're calling.
Wended was having problems. He tweeted or he emailed out to make sure that everybody had reported correctly.
Yeah.
That always slows down pairings.
Ugh. Okay. Well, I'll wait. When it's time, I'm sure I will play my match.
I'm looking forward to playing my first match in the league.
Dan, it's me and you.
Is it?
It is. Seriously, we got paired.
So we might manage to do that.
Yeah. That is awesome. Yay.
Now that I know they're up, I'm going to go and see who I got paired with real quick.
Hilarious. We should play it right now for the show. Let's see. Who's buzzing me?
Somebody just buzzed me. I wonder if
it's Fabian.
Yeah, I thought he was on.
Okay. All right. Deck updates. Right now, I am getting all the stuff for Turbo, for Tobias's Turbo Exhume, which is pretty awesome. Right now it's my favorite Classic Pauper deck. Like, nothing's even really close right now. So I just felt I needed it in paper.
It's pretty amazing to brew a competitive combo deck in Pauper at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look at the lands he picked. Geothermal Crevasse. Who the hell would have ever used that?
Anybody who played Storm.
Storm used
before
that?
It was banned.
Oh.
Yeah, Storm used that.
Crevasse.
It was like 2 tickets at the time in 2012.
Amazing. Now you can get them bulk.
I have stocked up on them. I want somebody to make a tier 1 combo deck again.
Hey.
Did you
Anthem Dream?
Do either of you guys follow Drinkard on Twitter?
I do.
Did you see he went like 15-0 in the Modern League?
Yep, he did with his
Suicide Black or Suicide Zoo.
Yep.
That was impressive as hell. Like, he just rolled through that.
Amazing.
That was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Oh, but Drinker's like a good player, like, regardless of the deck.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's his baby. Like, it's
right.
his deck, like, 100%. 100%. So
I started trying to make it, but then I realized how expensive it was, and there was no way.
Yeah,
that's a nightmare matchup for Tron.
I can imagine. All right, Dan. It's time. It's time.
Okay. Well, I have entered a period. Last year it was 5 months and a couple of days. And I think it hit 300 videos. So I'm going to play a lot of Pauper starting on November 22nd.
Awesome.
So right now we are in open deck submission. Currently 30 decks are in the Pauper Gauntlet. And just to explain the basics of it, I'm going to play all these decks. One deck at a time, every deck. See who won, who lost. For the first 2 rounds, it's double elimination, so you only have to win 1 of 2. But then, as the Gauntlet progresses, any deck that loses will be thrown out. And in the end, only one deck will remain.
Yep.
I am playing all the decks. So it's like me playing with myself for 5 months. But people seem to like it. And this year, we have a main sponsor. We have several sponsors, actually. It's going up on MTGO Library, blogspot.com.
Nice.
Because, like it did last year.
Yep.
We also have the patrons having contributed. Actually, the decision to run the 3rd season of the Pauper Gauntlet was only because of the patrons. So thank you, patrons. But then MTGO Ticket stepped in as the main sponsor of the Gauntlet. So now that helps me a lot as I'm trying to make it as a full-time YouTuber. And now I can do what I love most. Grinding crazy Pauper brews for ages. And that will be so much fun. There is a competition for the participants as well. So on November 22nd, another article will go up on mtgolibrary.blogspot.com listing all the decks. Last year's article is the most popular article I've ever written with the deck lists. And in the comments to that article, you can choose one deck per person. First come, first serve. And the person that picks the winning deck for the Pauper Gauntlet wins 100 bot credits.
What?
Geotickets.com. 100 bot credits.
Wow.
Also, they are, as a campaign right now, selling 10 tickets for $8. So definitely check them out. I will mention them like once every video. That's part of the deal. And I'm going to run like an image from them in the videos too. But what MTGO Tickets and Card Hoarder, who has been sponsoring our leagues on Magicgatheringstrat.com, what they are doing right now is that they are breaking MTGO traders' monopoly on MTGO Finance. And they are doing this by matching MTGO traders' prices on everything. And shaking up the market. MTGO Tickets is taking it one step further though, because they are going to, I don't think they have yet, but they will guarantee supply for Standard and Modern. So they will be fully stocked with a playset of every single card of Modern and Standard forever. That will be part of their offering. And I have no idea how they will manage that. So, let's discuss. I figure I should mention the 30 decks we have let into the Gauntlet so far. And I promised Brennon not to do this, not to go into details on the decks. But we have then 10 decks from last year. What the? Oh, my main document is gone. This is interesting. What? Oh. Okay, there will be no Gauntlet. There it is.
There will be no Gauntlet. Oh, God!
Run! Okay, 10 decks made it into top 10 last year. First out is Affinity. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
What was the last thing you heard?
Oh, no, I've heard everything. You've lost your document. You found your document. Life is better now.
Brennon, are you there?
Well, I just got back. I sent both of you a message. Y'all not paying attention to your messages.
Show up in a weird spot, and I don't want to talk about where they go. It's like,
okay, should I repeat anything? What was the last thing you heard, Brennan?
Oh no, I had to make a quick exit. So no, just keep going.
Pretend out of the Pauper Gauntlet decks.
Okay.
Affinity. And Affinity doesn't have a person piloting it, so I need someone to submit a competitive Affinity list. And if you have any experience playing Affinity in tournaments, that is helpful. But I need an Affinity list and an Affinity sideboard plan. For all these 10 decks, if I don't get what I'm asking for, I'm going to run the deck exactly like I ran it last year. But that's going to be a big disadvantage for the top 10 decks. The next deck out is Bugs and Pigs. It was submitted last year by Galactic President, and he has offered to do it this year as well, so it's coming.
Nice.
Also, Power T has submitted Pig Trinket, which is the love child of Bugs and Pigs and Trinket Control. So both those decks are in the third season of the Pauper Gauntlet.
That sounds cool.
Then we have... Sorry?
I said that sounds cool.
Yeah. And then we have Burn. And Burn is in the same spot. Burn was actually the runner-up last year. But it also doesn't have a captain. So I need someone to submit the Burn list and the sideboard plan and be the captain for Burn. Otherwise, I will run the old list, which did quite well. But I think it is a little bit suboptimal. Though I did go 12-0 with it. Then is the fourth deck is Exhume Control, and David Chafford couldn't make it this year. So he has handed the reins to Roberto, who went to sleep and is not in the chat. But Roberto will be the captain of Exhume Control. And then we have everyone's favorite deck if you want 60-minute videos where nothing happens. It's Familiars!
Dun,
and there was this guy who made the coffee model last year for playing Familiars, which helped a lot. And I asked him, but he hasn't answered. So at some point I might have to ask for a captain for Familiars as well. Of course, that deck list definitely has been updated this year. But I don't think anybody will cry tears if Familiars is eliminated early in the Pauper Gauntlet. Then we have Goblins. I ran a Jason Moore list without asking him last year. And now I need a captain for Goblins as well. Otherwise, I will run the lists from last year. Next out is Green One by Deluxecoif, and it has been submitted to the Pauper Gauntlet by Deluxecoif this year. And it's
cool.
The first time he submitted a deck to the Pauper Gauntlet.
Really?
Yeah, I get the feeling he is mildly annoyed with the Pauper Gauntlet. But as we have featured his deck so much. But this year he submitted Green One himself.
Alright, well, yay.
And it's the only deck he has submitted.
I mean, it is probably my favorite deck that is strictly his.
It's fantastic. It's Stompy was too passive, so now we go even more aggressive.
Yeah, it's Stompy's for little girls. Let's play Green One. Green One is for men.
Yes. Octavi Drake.
Yeah, because you can't have too much Octavi Drake.
I think one of the strengths of the Pauper Gauntlet is that it promotes brewers. innovative brewers doing crazy stuff and doing it well. And one of the perhaps most legendary brewers of the Pauper Gauntlet is Jack, JPH Snake.
Yes.
He made top 10 with Mono Red Heroic that turned into like red 1 drops during the last Gauntlet.
Such a great deck. He did it did way better than I thought it would have done in that last Gauntlet. And this year it has Teamward Battle Rage.
Yeah, and he will be back. He will brew that deck further. Sweet. And there will be other submissions from him.
Yeah, it looks like he's currently got 3 up right now, so 4. He's got 4 currently on the website that he put up.
Oh, I haven't looked at the website because I wanted to do it in real time on the show.
Yeah, no, there's some stuff up there.
Good, we'll talk about that later.
So,
all right.
People were quite surprised that the Rebel deck made it into top 10 last year, but Aught 3, the brewer, will return.
Oh, nice.
With that brew and others, I'm sure.
With the drop of the enchantment, Rebel enchantment card and rarity,
yeah,
really made that an actual super playable deck, so that's awesome. So
next out is Stompy, who got the captain. It's going to be captained by Canoes, and I haven't heard from him, so Canoes, please send me the Stompy things. And that's the top 10 decks. Stompy was the winner of last year's Pauper Gauntlet.
Sweet.
And that deck was brewed by Chris Weaver, but he is no longer playing Pauper as far as I know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's not even on Magic Online anymore.
Yeah, he had a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
New job, 3 children, dog.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Moved.
I see him comment on Twitter every once in a great while, but that's about it.
Yeah, same here.
Shout out to Chris. He did a lot of good stuff for our channel.
Yes, he did.
And then we have the Pauper Road Cup in Sevilla, in Spain. So shout out to Cardboard Commons for all their work. They ran this live tournament in Spain. And the top 4 decks, it was a Pauper Rogue deck tournament. So you had to play a Rogue deck. And the definition of Rogue deck was anything that had less than 2% of the metagame on Goldfish. And 4 interesting decks came out of the top 4. And then actually the number 5th deck was voted in as the people's choice. So we have 5 decks from the Pauper Rogue Cup. And I think next year I will do more qualifications like this. If you run a Pauper website and want to do something to qualify for the Pauper Gauntlet.
Right.
One thing we should have done in hindsight is to qualify decks from the Pauper Brewers Cup. That we ran ourselves. But the 5 decks out of the Pauper Rogue Cup is Black Auramancer, which was the winner. Pestilence Control. Izzet Kuldotha. And my favorite of these decks is Red Land Destruction. Just Matering Bully and the Land Destruction spells.
Yeah, that you've got a video of that.
Oh, yes. And the people's choice was a Rakdos Vampire deck.
Huh. Well, that's interesting.
And as I said, deck submission is going on right now. And I have let in another 15 decks. I'll put the link in the chat here for deck submission. And those 15 decks are Mono Black Land Destruction by Mario. It's an update of the deck last year. It was one of the more fun decks in the Gauntlet, so it was easy to let that one in. Then we have Illusory Tricks, the runner-up of Season 1 of the Pauper Gauntlet, brewed by our very own Baba.
Yep, that's another deck that I actually have in paper. Love it.
I'm going to get it in paper.
I'm very curious about the updates to Illusory Tricks, because he tends to change things around in that.
Yeah, I would like to know too.
And then we have a Mono Green Infect list by New HE. Another favorite brewer of mine, of course, I am partial to this guy because he taught me Magic. He honed my deck so I could win nationals. He was ranked #1 in the world. He made me go to 2 world championships. He invented trinket control. And I make the Game of Thrones chat podcast with him. Power T. I asked him for some decks, and he sent in 3 decks to the Pauper Gauntlet. And he notoriously did not submit Trinket Control because he has moved on to Pig Trinket.
Right.
Because Pig Trinket solves some problem matchups that Trinket Control have, such as Burn. But he has also submitted 2 decks that are, I think, a bit unexpected. He has progressed from... He has developed Saurus Kitty into Counter Kitty.
What? What kind of craziness is that?
It's Kitty grind with counter spells.
Wow, okay.
And his last deck is Gary Busey Land Destruction. And the deck is called Gary Busey because it will treat you like an abusive alcoholic.
Oh,
wow.
See.
I think he's just crazy.
That's just me.
Another interesting submission comes from Obsen himself, the master of teachings decks. He submitted a Snow Go teachings deck.
Okay.
Which is probably a nightmare to play, but it's easy to play compared to his other submission, which actually he sent me part of his instructions for playing the deck. It's Rustic Tron. And he said, okay, you have to reconsider how you use Magic Online to play to have any chance of being able to finish a game with this deck in time. So I have to do like resets and make set up things properly to have any chance of finishing the game.
Oh my god.
So this is a grindy deck. Perhaps the grindiest deck of all the Pauper decks. So I'm really scared about this one.
That's insane.
His Snow-Go deck, though, I'll tell you, it's a blast to play, and I've always loved playing his teaching builds. I think they're just all amazing. So
next deck is Boros Kitty Initiated by Galactic President. It's a twist to the Boros Kitty deck. The winner of the first Pauper Gauntlet.
Yep. Boros Kitty.
And then we have 2 Dimir decks. We have Flying Ninjas by Michael Gray, which include Flying Ninjas.
What about Flying Dinosaurs?
Yeah, it's like Flying Dinosaurs without the dinosaurs.
Okay.
And perchance a little more competitive. We'll see.
Okay.
And I can't stop the Dimir control decks from coming into the Gauntlet, so there's a Justice control list by Ali Randali. It's basically no creatures, just Evan Carr's Justice and Innocent Bloods and good times for everyone. Then we have Pauper Nightmare, which is by Magic Monkey, a black-red control deck. And then we have the only patron submission so far. If you're a $5 patron of Magicgatheringstrat, you get to make a free submission to the Pauper Gauntlet, no questions asked. And so you had to be a patron at the end of October to do this. And there's a Simic Oracle deck by Michael Gray. Michael Gray was the guy who ran the Sheeps for Ships modern series on Magicgatheringstrat.com. So he's good at making budget brews.
Yeah.
Next deck is a Sheety Morph deck by Nate Spires that looked like nothing I have ever seen in Pauper. So it made it. Next out is... I talked about Pig Trinket. Then we have Dragon Delve by New HE. It tries to abuse the Delve mechanic and it's playing all the dragon cards from where were they from? Like those things that jump onto big creatures that they are in the graveyard, but then
Dragon's Fang.
Yeah, much like Turbo Exhume, but it's all of them. So a lot of stuff will hop onto the Gurmaganglers when they come back.
Right. Now there was one that gives fear, which could be actually pretty good.
All right. So those are the 30 decks so far, but do we do it at the end of the show when we look at the submissions from the last 12 hours?
No, yeah, I mean that's right now. This is it. This is it till the end of the show. So.
Okay, we're doing it right now, people.
We're doing it live.
Which website are they on?
They are on the link I just posted in the chat.
Pulling up the chat. MTGO library. Add. Screen capture. MTGO library.
Library.
Alright.
So everyone go here. MTG bought this down on our Twitch stream.
And Tapped Out is still down. It's been down almost all night.
Oh no!
Super annoying.
If Tapped Out is out, we can't do this.
I mean, we can talk about the decks, but we can't look into them.
Oh, there's a Mono Red Heroic submission from Jay Pachnik, just like you said.
Yep.
That's awesome. Okay, we don't need to discuss that deck because it's already in. His next deck is Cyborgs. Suicide White was the breakthrough deck of Jay Pachnik. He won some dailies with it and people were like, what the hell is that? Back in 2013. It was also the first Pauper Gauntlet match ever.
What?
Yes.
And I strongly remember that being a really fun deck, and obviously looks like he shorted up with the Metalcraft aspect a little bit more, just from his little note. So that's going to be pretty awesome to watch.
We have to check these submissions for proper sideboard plans and stuff, but I'm pretty positive to Cyborgs. Any thoughts?
On Cyborgs?
I know from experience that the Pauper Gauntlet will fill up with white weenie deck submissions.
Yes.
Everybody loves the mono white decks.
The thing about it is, though, is if it's from JPS Snake and it's Suicide White, it's not going to really be your traditional mono white deck. So I would say that it would get in.
I'm going to let in a white tokens deck, but I haven't got a proper submission yet.
Okay.
Understandable.
Oh, there's an allies deck. Evil allies.
Evil allies, yep. I was just looking at that.
I wish we could see it. I wish we could.
Oh, okay.
That's down.
Yeah, we can't let that in without seeing the Tapped Out being down. Really, is a downer for this part of the show. Is anybody submitting things to another site than Tapped Out? I should get money from Tapped Out.
But I mean, Tapped Out is kind of the go-to.
Everybody use Deckbox. That's what I use.
Deckbox is complicated.
It is not. It's awesome. Deckbox you can export and it looks like normal English. Tapped Out you can't export worth crap.
I mean, I like it when it doesn't look like normal English. We'll have to see.
Oh wait, here's one.
Evil allies.
Deck stats, the last one.
Okay, let's look at that then.
Deck stats. Here we go.
Wait, we're skipping stuff that I submitted.
Tyler Kelly, Midnight Guard combo. That's also a regular submission.
Oh, yep.
Well, he did something right. He posted on a site that works.
Yes. So here it is.
I remember this site.
Well, Tapped Out was working when I started pulling decks from it, it's just like halfway through it went down, and that was like, what, 5 hours ago now? So they'll get their stuff back together.
Where is the sideboard plan?
For this one?
Yeah.
Is it not a tips for play?
Tips for play. Oh, show more. Yeah, here's this.
But that's not the sideboard plan as you would like it to be. So it probably needs
one at the bottom or something like that.
Well,
it's more of like a guide of what to do. So if Brennan scrolls up a little, yeah, there it is.
This stuff, tips for play.
Okay, I'm just telling him to get the deck a proper sideboard plan, but I'm a little bit reluctant to Midnight Guard combo. We've been trying that. We had 2 decks last year, and it just doesn't work.
I don't understand why you add red to it.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Just for Tormenting Voices and Lightning Bolts?
Yeah, card draw.
And I guess Pyroblast to protect it against counters.
And Flame Slash. Oh, and Chain Lightning. You basically just bring it all in and become a burn deck?
It's not enough to be a burn deck, though. You're only adding 2 more burn spells.
Yeah, there's only 3 sources of red total.
Alright, I think we need more information on that deck. Let's proceed looking at the new stuff here.
Okay.
Here's Sam.
I think an Allies deck is a good idea. Because there is a song, and it seems to have a new twist.
I mean, I think, again, just on blind faith alone, with JPS, JPH Snake, I would have to say that you pretty much would just want to let pretty much any deck he submits in, just the caliber of brewer he is.
So does that mean... I'm reluctant to let in his Goblin deck, actually.
That's the only one to question for me.
With the Dash Sly?
Yeah, well, maybe.
I think traditional Goblins is super good, so you would definitely need to check that out to see if Dash is actually worth it.
That seems like an interesting hypothesis to try in the Gauntlet.
Yes. And maybe let in a more traditional Goblins build as well, like we did last year with Azorius Kitty.
That one is already in, so
there
I will not count that deck as the Goblin deck.
Will not count. Which one is the Goblin deck?
The JPH Snake deck. That will be one of the open submissions.
Awesome.
What do you think about Love Train? You want to see that again?
Hell yes, I want to see Love Train again.
I think everybody needs a little more Love Train.
Yeah, I think so too. We have Piracor online here, and he wants to submit his fog list.
Hell yeah, do it.
Of course.
Yeah, it's in.
Yeah,
he promised me he would give me instructions so I don't screw it up like I've done with Turbo Fog.
Tell him. Hey, Piracor.
That's tradition, people.
Yeah, Dan needs...
and I'm pretty sure I will screw it up again, but I'll try.
Dan needs a 300-page sideboard plan like you did for Mono Bluetron. So
I think I was pretty fine with the 13-page sideboard planning instructions for Love Train that I got in Season 1. I think that's the record so far.
Okay.
It was like, on turn 1, do one of these 10 things, depending on...
Yeah, because he told you what you had to have, right, in order to make a hand playable?
Of course.
Yeah.
A mulligan instructions. I should have asked for that for everybody.
Good luck.
Yeah, mulligan instructions help. We have another deck here. It's Michael Gray again. It's Bug Proliferators. And I think we have to see it to judge it.
I think so too. I like the idea of proliferate being a thing, and it's definitely got.
He did have that crazy Green Grifters deck last year,
which he has resubmitted. If you scroll up a little bit,
yeah, I've told him no this time.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I love the Green Grifters deck.
Well, maybe I have to reconsider.
No, let's see what bug.
Okay, listeners, if you want to see Green Grifters in the Pauper Gauntlet this year, tell me so. Tell me so in the comments to this video or in the article. Because popular demand is a major factor in the Pauper Gauntlet.
Oh, yeah.
If I say no to a deck and 10 people say yes, it will pretty much always get in.
And then when tapped
if
out...
5 people say yes, I will seriously consider it.
And when tapped out comes back up, let's check out the bug proliferators and see if that looks awesome. Because that could be awesome.
Oh, I just tried it. I got a 500 error.
Yeah, I keep getting it, or I get the ornithopters have ran off with the website error. It's one of the two right now, so...
it's maintenance.
The next deck list is a troll post by some arrogant bastard who says he's not logging in just to submit decks. And then he's just spamming us with deck lists.
It's a few.
It's Sam, the Vault Boy Hunter.
I wanted Demiri Trinket. I wanted the original. And actually, all of these have sideboard plans, except for Turbo Kitty Zoo.
What the hell is Turbo Kitty Zoo?
It's Turbo Kitty's Zoo build that back when he was still playing again, it would have been like summer of last year. It is no snow, super streamlined blastoderms. I swear to God, it's the best zoo build I've played or seen anybody play on MTGO. And he was like 3-0ing the dailies like all of the time with it. I think it's better than the Winter Zoo build, but I have a sideboard plan on the Winter Zoo build. Actually, I have a sideboard plan on every other deck here except for that. So if you were to accept it, I would build one real quick. But I did Project X, Torture Toolbox, Winter
Project
Zoo.
X is interesting because it's Dom's old combo deck.
It is, and it's fun to play, and it's very combo-y.
Yeah, and it's super strong for a combo deck.
Right. I have my.
And I think it's unexpected as well. People have to have seen the deck to understand what's happening.
You can often just win because they think you're just like sitting there, just dirtling around, and all of a sudden you've won. So I like Project X quite a bit. I did Tortured Toolbox because I think there has to be at least one Tortured Existence deck, and
there probably has to be one.
The Winter Zoo, again, sideboard plan, your Rot Wolf control deck.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no straight up to that. I want to forget my only brewing for Pauper ever done.
That's your choice. I have Glass Cannon Red.
I actually did a Pauper brew much more recently, within the last 2 months. And if anybody can find that on the internet and submit it, I'll be inclined to, because I haven't tested it.
Oh, damn.
It's on the internet.
How do you feel about Glass Cannon Red?
Glass Cannon Red, was that a JPH Snake deck?
It was either...
But he didn't submit it.
No, but I submitted it last time.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't around submitting, or he only submitted like 2 things.
Yeah, and it was a thought experiment he did in an article, right?
It was.
I played it. It was awesome.
Emulating Soul Eater, and it's very fun. And then I'll have a few more when Tapped Out comes back out.
Devil Children.
Oh no!
Yes.
That's another one of the white weenie decks.
Devil Children.
See, I think somebody else had talked about a deck similar to Devil's Children near the top.
Okay.
So I didn't want to put Devil's Children up. Mostly because I think we have to really watch the flooding of White Weenie.
Yes.
It's just so super to brew for.
I have a question on Glass Cannon Red.
Yes.
what would you say would be the strongest argument to let Glass Cannon Red into the Pauper Gauntlet? Maybe you don't know this.
Turn 2 wins.
It is by far the most popular Pauper video on our YouTube channel.
That's funny.
From last year, I got the turn 2 kill. We actually have turn 1 kill videos in Pauper. But that's not even 1/5 as popular as turn 2 kill.
I mean,
I think I marketed this one properly.
Well, I think people search for turn 2 kill. Because
they probably do, because the turn 1 kill video is much less popular.
Yeah.
So Glass Cannon Red managed to get the turn 2 kill in the Pauper Gauntlet last year.
So that would be my argument to let it in.
And I think that's a super strong argument. If you submit a deck that can get us 7,000 views on a video, that's a good argument.
No kidding.
So, now, right now, I don't see anybody has submitted a Tron build.
What's up with that?
I imagine somebody will. I mean, I don't see anybody has submitted like a mono black control build yet or anything like.
Actually, there's a lot of things missing at this point. There is no Delver list.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we just started, right? Submission's only been open for 2 days. People will start bringing the expected decks. So that'll happen. I'll have more.
If you want to do that, start with Affinity, Burn, and Goblins.
Right.
But yeah, I'll have more brews up whenever Tapped Out comes back up, because I'll just put up some more stuff from last season for your approval or denial. And then if you want Turbo Kitty Zoo in, just let me know and I'll make a sideboard plan for it.
Make a sideboard plan for that. I think that 4-color Winter Zoo is like, that's old stuff. But this sounds much more interesting.
It's so solid. I mean, it is just crazy.
If any of the stream watchers have any opinions of decks they want to see in the Gauntlet, tell us in the chat. Sorry, Sam, you were saying?
No, I mean, you know Turbo Kitty. You might not like Turbo Kitty, but when he was playing Magic and brewing, he built solid decks, and I think that was about the last deck that he ever built, and I love it. I think it's the best representation of a Pauper Zoo deck I've ever seen. So
yeah, the Turbo Kitty is an interesting character. He is a high-performance daily events player. He built the original Boros Kitty deck. That's why it's called Boros Kitty, and that's why Kitty is a term for grindy decks. And he is quite hard to talk to. So when I eventually played him, I was like, "Oh, it's Turbo Kitty. Thanks, man, for all your brews." And he was like, "Shut up." So yeah, interesting character.
All right.
He's like, "Shut up, Dan. I hate."
I hate people, Dan.
I hate talking.
This is why I play Magic Online, so no human interaction.
Right, don't make me acknowledge your humanity.
Yeah, I don't think he left the Pauper to go on the Pro Tour or something, because then he would have to talk to people.
I doubt it.
All right. Well, that's crazy, man. Whew.
But, of course, when does submission shut? Dan?
Yeah?
When are submissions over?
Close?
Sorry?
When does submission close?
Submission closes on the 17th, I think. It's in the article.
Okay, so we'll
it's very important that you don't submit the deck anywhere else. Don't submit it in the comments to this video. Don't submit it. You have to submit the decks with links to the decks in the comments to this article, and include sideboard plans and tips for playing and mulligan instructions. So
sideboard plans on the links, not on the page.
Yes.
Very important, because you blow up the page and it makes it really hard to keep track of the decks. I remember that from last year. So the links, so if you do Tapped Out, put it in the comments section.
Because it's actually, administration of this is crazy. It's so much work. So that's why I have to be so hard.
Yeah. At the end of it, you should see the spreadsheet Dan uses. It is insane. It's just
yes.
I don't even know how you keep up with it.
Yeah, if I do one mistake, I can like kill the integrity of the entire gauntlet and have to like replay 100 matches. So I really want to keep administration as easy as possible.
And what's really nice about it this year is that we waited for the fall set, right?
Yeah, that was the point.
Because last year, with everybody updating their decks and their sideboard plans, that I feel like that added an extra 2 weeks of administration for Dan.
Yes.
And
so this year, there will be 0 updates to the decks during the gauntlet. Only in the case of a banning will you be allowed to do updates.
Right.
So no updates. There was another reason actually to run it in November, and why I will probably always run the Pauper Gauntlet in November. And that was that biking season. It was supposed to have ended.
Right.
But we now have a very warm fall here. It's way above freezing. And I can still bike. And I actually love biking when it's just a couple of degrees above freezing, because then you don't get sweaty.
That's just practical.
So, yeah, I'm still biking a bit. But I'll manage. Last year I was actually biking, I think in November. The gauntlet started in August, and I was biking like 6 hours a day in November, so all my life was biking and Pauper Gauntlet.
Wow. All right, guys.
I'll try to stop biking.
Well,
any other thoughts, questions, things about the Pauper Gauntlet? We made one major change, or perhaps more than one, but one big change is that in round 1 and round 2 are double elimination in the Just for Fun room. The reason for that is that we want to see every deck. In the first season, we just ran into the tournament practice room, and like 20 decks lost in the first match, and they didn't get to showcase what they could do. So now we do the Just for Fun room rounds, and they're double elimination. But if you win the first round, you don't get to play the second round, because that took weeks and weeks. So the second round will be only for the decks that lost. And last year, only 3 out of 77 decks were eliminated during double elimination. And then we go into straight hardcore elimination starting round 3. In the tournament practice room, there will be a vote back. I'm still working on the format for that after round 4. Last year we went 13 rounds. This year the two-man queues starts earlier, because two-man queues have improved significantly value-wise. Yeah, I think those are the big things. Do you have anything to add?
I don't, other than don't be afraid to submit something, folks.
And
there's a lot of room here.
Next week, the show will be the day before submission ends. So we'll get to cover everything except for like the fly by the seat of your pants last minute submissions. We'll get to wrap it all up pretty much. So that'll be nice. We'll get to cover everything else.
I'm not sure yet, but I will probably put a couple of decks to the vote at the end of deck submission. So you guys get to determine a number of decks that goes in. Like we did last year.
Which will be nice because everybody has favorites that Dan doesn't want to play, i.e. One Land Spy.
Don't mention that deck! Go this far without mentioning One Land Spy.
If somebody submits One Land Spy and it gets voted in as a favorite, then Dan has to play One Land Spy.
Oh no! That is actually the deck that has the one turn kill video.
I thought about submitting it, but I don't have a sideboard plan for it.
Make me play One Land Spy, please.
There's no sideboard for it. There's nothing you can do. It's an all-in combo deck. So.
Right. It's
It doesn't work.
Except for when it works perfectly. But that's like 2% of the time.
Right, 2% of the time it works every time.
I think it actually works like 20% of the time, but that's still not enough.
I mean, you sit down to play One Land Spy, your opponent goes first, plays an island, you concede.
Can I do that? I thought of another change this year. This year, a card has to be played in a match. So if the opponent leaves, it counts as a win. But this year, it doesn't if they just start the game and don't do anything. So please don't do that. But it happened a couple of times last year. So one of the actual reasons for the Pauper Gauntlet to exist was that I wanted to make these casual Pauper matches count in some way. So I was sitting down, I had an hour to do a video for the channel, and then somebody concedes after 20 minutes, and the video is, you have to delete it, and then there's no video. But now they matter because of the Pauper Gauntlet.
That's true.
And there will be no streaming this year either, and it's because of the sniping problem that occurred in Season 1, because it was very easy to manipulate the outcome of the Gauntlet if I was streaming.
That's true. And since there's prizes, so many prizes on the line, the likelihood would probably be greatly increased.
Yeah, and in the final rounds, to avoid people trying to manipulate the outcome of the Gauntlet, I will probably play under other accounts and stuff. I did that in Season 1. Right. So I moved the extra other accounts that people didn't know about.
Too. I remember you playing underneath at least 4 different accounts in the second one too, near the end.
Yeah, I did. I can't remember. It's all a blur.
Yeah, you played at least a few under Born of the Gods account.
I think a couple underneath the one that you have that's like Happy Panda or something like that.
Fluffy Grizzly.
Yeah, that's it. Fluffy Grizzly. You played some through that one.
That's my wife's account.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I was like, what is Fluffy Grizzly? What is that? And Dan's like, my wife named it.
Yeah, it's a grizzly that's fluffy.
Yep. Very straightforward.
Yes.
What's so hard to understand?
All right. Well, folks, I have to get up in the morning.
More thing. I don't want to stop talking about the Gauntlet.
I know you don't.
I might do the top 10 playoff, and I may not. So if there is not 10 decks left in the Gauntlet, but 9 or 7, it was 7 last year. I made the decks that lost in the round before play to see who were in the top 10. So if you liked the top 10 playoff, please tell me so in the comments.
I thought that was pretty awesome.
Because that was very grindy. It was like an extra mini Gauntlet in the Gauntlet.
It's very meta.
And those were the videos for Christmas, because I went away for Christmas. I spent 2 days just grinding all those matches. And this year, of course, that will happen much later than Christmas. Because we are starting 2.5 months later.
All right. Well, folks, all of this and more.
One more thing.
Dan, I've got to go to bed.
Do subscribe to Magicgatheringstrat 2, our reserve channel, because most of the early round videos will go on that channel, because people will unsubscribe like crazy if we post 10 Pauper videos in a day on the main channel. So there will be only one Pauper Gauntlet video on the main channel every day, and not more than that.
Correct.
So for the hardcore Pauper Gauntlet stuff, subscribe to Magicgatheringstrat 2. Okay, now I will shut up.
No, you won't. All right, MagicGatheringstrat.com, YouTube/MagicGatheringstrat, Patreon.com. Become a patron.
Okay, I will not shut up.
Magic Gathering Strat.
The Patreon. The 4th season of the Pauper Gauntlet is already a milestone goal on the Patreon. And it might happen if the Patreon doesn't hit 550 next year. But that's the goal, I think. It might happen if I could land another main sponsor like I did this year. But if there's no main sponsor, the Patreon has to go to 550. So please support us on Patreon. If you like what we are doing, consider spending $1 or $2 a month on supporting Magic Gathering Strat. Okay, now I'm silent.
Okay. Twitter at Magicgatheringstrat. For me, it's at Cerulean Says Hi. Sam, it's at SPO7677. Dan is at Dan Horning. You need to make sure you're Twittered up with the Magicgath Strat so you know when videos are going up. Facebook.com/Magicgatheringstrat. Please like and subscribe. And for this week, I am Brennon.
I'm Sam, and I'm so tired. Oh, God.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm Dan, and I'm psyched for the Pauper Gauntlet.
Yeah, we know. This has been the Magic Gathering Strat Show.